the last point I wanted to touch on with women that grow up with fathers, women versus women that don't, is I feel like women that have their fathers in their life, they're used to men saying, oh, you know, you're a man saying, oh, you're beautiful, you know, you're pretty, versus women that don't. The first man that tells her you're gorgeous, you're beautiful, you're pretty, they're like, oh my God, like, he's in love with me, he loves me, like, this is the best guy. Definitely domestic violence is a super touchy subject. However, you know, I haven't been in a situation where I have been domestically abused, but I would say to the point where there's different forms of domestic abuse. You know, there's verbal, there's physical, there's so many levels of it. But speaking from my point in my situation, what I've experienced is a lot of verbal, like abuse that I experienced myself, to the point where it was like, oh, you know, you ain't shit, you ain't this, you ain't that, like you don't do this right, you don't do that right, and that really can tear somebody completely down.
Verbal just as bad as physical.
Definitely.
Sure.
And I think that at any level, physical abuse is bad. Like even like pushing a woman or throwing a woman or doing anything like that, even shaking her up. Like some men are like, oh, I would never hit a woman, but I would definitely shake her. Like, no, that's still domestic abuse. That's still domestic violence. Like, that's not okay. Like, what's your touch on it? Like, because I heard a lot of men saying like, I'll shake a woman. Like,
So let me ask you, how do you feel about the woman hitting the man, or you know, like being the aggressor and punching on him, or swinging on him, and how he? I don't condone the man hitting the woman, really, but I'm saying, you know, how do you feel about the woman starting just hitting a man, punching on him, swinging on him, and how you should react?
Well, I think that more women actually abuse men than men abuse women. I think more women abuse men, but I think the reason why we are not aware of it is because it goes undocumented. So men don't report it because I think, exactly, they don't report it, and I think it's a pride thing for men. Like they're not gonna say, "Oh, a woman's beating me up." Like the men will be like, "That looks funny," you know.
If they do report it, I'm not mad.
Yeah.
I think the case is that we just get the short end of the stick. Like women are such good manipulators. You know what I mean? Like honestly, to call the police on a scene like that could go awry really fast. You know what I mean? Because women are just.
I think what women fail to realize is even if they're doing that to scare the man or doing that to say, like, you know, to prove a point, police listen to the woman on domestic violence. They rape or whatever. If the woman says that they're being domestically abused, they're not going to care what the guy says. So I don't think they realize that in the situation. I think it's based off like emotion at the time.
I think they realize that. And they feed off of that. They realize that they know they have the upper hand, right? Like you wouldn't do certain things if you know that it wouldn't work in your favor, right? So like if something happened and you call the cops, it wouldn't be because you're trying to scare them. You know you have the upper hand, right? I've heard women say several times, like, oh, well, they're gonna believe me. I'm a woman.
Right. I mean, I as a woman, I can agree with that. They do think that. I mean, I would never call the cops. I threatened them. I haven't threatened, but you know, I think you can't say all women do realize that. I think that a lot of times it's emotion. Women are very emotional. I think men know that women are very emotional, but I think in a time of an argument, they think that they're just crazy. You know, like they don't understand that they're hurt or they're upset or like, you know, it's just an emotional state for them. So they just kind of want to feel more power because I think they feel at the time men can be more powerful, kind of overtake that women's power. So they want to kind of take that power back and be like, oh, well, I can do this and then I'm going to win. You know what I mean? Yeah.
I know a lot of the times in situations like that, women, they act based off of their emotions, and men, we don't act based off of our emotions. We're more like, well, I don't know, just be personal, more like logical and as opposed to emotional. But women, when they get emotional, they can say anything and they'll just crush whatever you got going on, you feel me? But they won't know, it's just their emotions coming out. They react before they think. So,
and that's the difference between, I think, a lot of times between men and women. Is women are able to like destroy somebody verbally. You know what I mean? Verbally. Men are more lot of the times is to establish something.
Right.
You know what I mean? And there's no other way to establish that sometimes other than physical way. Shaking somebody, hey, look. Because women know how to drive that emotion out of you. You know what I'm saying? They know how to test it. They know how to push your manhood. They know what to say to make it. You know